We'll get going with the Tuesday edition of the Army-Navy press conference promoting the Army-Navy game presented by USAA, which will kick off on Saturday at 3 o'clock on CBS. We've got senior tri-captain Billy Honaker with us today.
What has this game meant to you to be able to play in it and play such a vital role last season and to be able to do it on such a national stage?
I mean, this is why you come to the Naval Academy. Army Navy. I remember when Coach O'Rourke started recruiting me, I didn't really know what the Naval Academy was, and when I started researching, trying to figure out what it was, this is always like the number one thing that comes up. So, obviously, like this is what you look forward to all year. It's what you look forward to your entire career leading up to when you actually get to start playing. And so last year, like that's still one of the best moments of my life. Winning in Philadelphia with that team. So, I mean, obviously, like I know what it means to win this game. So just trying to kind of pass that knowledge on to the other guys, get them motivated. And I don't really think that, anybody needs motivation for it, but just to, kind of give them that extra little kick.
David Forney, your teammate on the offensive line that you played alongside last season, passed away in February. And to honor him, you're going to wear his number 68 against Army. What was it like making that decision for you, and how were you able to make it all happen?
Well, obviously this whole year has been rough for everyone all across the world. And then, just to, kind of add on for, the guys on this team, losing Dave was probably the hardest moment of my life. And it's something that's, really affected me and other guys on the offensive line and the team as a whole. So, when Coach Ingram moved me to left guard, I kind of just like the thought kind of started to cross my mind of, whether or not that if it was too soon or not to do something like that. And then I was just kind of, really weighing what it meant, the number meant to, us and his family. And I just kind of thought about eventually, obviously, the number's going to go back into rotation, I'm sure. And so I just thought about whether or not, I just wanted somebody who didn't know Dave to wear that number. And I figured the first time that number should be worn on the field is, Army Navy and by someone, who knew who he was and who loved him. And, so really the only thing for me now is to just kind of play in a way that honors him and who he was as a football player.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
Kareem.
Hey, Billy, I wanted to ask about that also. I'm assuming you reached out to his family and asked about wearing number. Could you share some of that conversation, what that was like?
Yeah, well, it started off like I kind of went from the lowest level and then on up. So, I texted TJ Salou and Kendall Wright, asking them what they thought. And TJ, told me that he thought it'd be amazing. And then so the next step I took, I texted his little brother, Chris. Me, Kenny, and TJ, we play Xbox together all the time, play Call of Duty. So, since all this happened back in February, we've really grown close together. And Chris, when we're able to get off the yard, a lot of times he comes up to Annapolis or comes down to Annapolis and we hang out. So I asked him and, he thought that it'd be, a cool thing. And then so on Sunday I called Rick Forney and, just kind of, proposed the idea, and he thought that, it would be awesome for, me to wear the number. And I think, he kind of understood where I was coming from. And then after that, we just talked about, anything else, like just a regular conversation. We kind of moved on past the number and talked about life and everything that's going on with the football team and everything that he's doing.
Can you share a little bit of the relationship between you and David? I know you guys were close and teammates, but, it sounds like it was more than just a teammate kind of relationship.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I've talked about it a lot, the relationship I have with Dave. I wasn't like, Kendall and TJ were like his best friends in the whole world, and I was more of like, I came in a little bit later. Obviously, I'm a year behind them. So they had that relationship building at the prep school through plebe year. And then I come in plebe year while they're youngsters. And, Dave was a, kind of if he didn't really, if y'all weren't really close, he really didn't, interact with you too much. So, I had to kind of work my way in there. And then going in the spring ball, my locker got moved over to by him, Chris Gazelle, and Steve Satchel. And I mean, that's where it really started. Dave was tough on me. And because of that, I think, I'm a better football player and a better person because of it. And really, I mean, it was just kind of like, he was kind of like a mentor to me, somebody I really looked up to because, he understood the game in a way that a lot of people don't understand the game. It just came so naturally to him. And so I just looked up to him, and he was like a big brother to me. And then, last year during the season, I was roommates with Kendall, and then Dave was roommates with my friend Sean Ratty. And our rooms were oftentimes next to each other, and a lot of the hotels we were in would have like conjoining doors, and we would just open it and go hang out in each other's room, before the game and everything. And I mean, that's really just where the relationship starts, is in the locker room and in those little moments with each other and just messing around, joking. So
this is going to be the first time since 1943 that the game is going to be played up in West Point. What's this going to be like for you as a member of the team?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Army-Navy. It's still, another football game. So it's kind of trying to not let something like that, take away from what's really important and what we need to take care of. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity to go up there and, upset them at their place, because there's already an added, stress to it that it's a rivalry game, but then even more so they have to, defend their home field. So, it's just something that we just got to go up there and take care of business, and it just gives us an opportunity to put our mark on the Army-Navy game as a team. And I'm excited about it. The team's excited about it.
And then the season may not have gone according to plan so far, but a win against Army and all is forgotten. Is that the mentality you guys are heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it hasn't gone at all like we planned, but I mean, that's every team in the country can pretty much say that. And you can make excuses all day, but at the end of the day, we just didn't get things done the way we needed to. And like you said, we beat Army. We can just forget about everything else. Nothing else really matters, and that's the mindset that we are taking. It's 1-0 this week, like it is every week, but this week is the only thing in the world that matters, and it's imperative that we as a team just keep our focus on going up there and getting the job done.
Bill Wagner.
Hey, Billy, with regard to wearing David's number, I mean, do you feel a certain responsibility to kind of perform at a certain level with that number on your back? I mean, David Forney played his butt off in the Army-Navy game last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's obviously I understood that going into it. I wouldn't have done it if I was scared that, I couldn't make him proud or, make his family proud. But, at the end of the day, like Coach Ingram told me, just play football the way I play football. Dave knew the kind of football player I was. I knew the kind of football player he was. So, it's just kind of just go in there and play football and play to win. And that's what matters. And I'm sure that's what Dave would want, is for us to win.
And can you talk about the offensive line? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about quarterbacks and this and that, but, some of the responsibility for the issues with the option and being able to run the ball are up front as well. Can you talk about trying to get that fixed for this very important game?
Yeah. I mean, it's been the same thing every week. Just when it comes to practice time, it's focusing on getting better. And I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that we need to fix, and Coach Ingram and O'Rourke have, tried to focus on those things, and we need to continue to focus on them and get better. But at the end of the day, we just need to be able to put ourselves in positions to win. We don't need to play perfect football. We don't need to put 1,000, rushing yards in a game. We just need to rush enough to where we can win football games, put the team in opportunities to score. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters, is just trying to win football games.
Juliet.
Hi. I was wondering what it's like being a captain of the team this year with all the adversity that's going on in the world with COVID and lockdowns, and then the racial protests, and all the other things that the team has had to face, cancellations of games, and then moving the Army-Navy game away from Philly. What is it like being one of the leaders on the team? What kind of things do you think you've had to do and that other captains in past years haven't?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a great honor to be a captain for any academy sports team. Obviously, there's been all kinds of obstacles and hardships that we've had to face. But at the end of the day, it's really just a blessing, I think, for the three of us to be put in this role where there's all this stress and so many things that we can't control that just don't happen to go our way. So I think it teaches us valuable lessons for future life, and then especially in the roles that we're about to fill in the Navy and Marine Corps. There's going to be a lot of times when we face something that isn't going to go our way, or and the only option is to move on and try to get better from it, try to be better leaders from it, and ultimately just kind of accepting it and moving on is really the only thing that we can do, because I mean, we've seen it all year that things haven't been perfect. Things, like I said earlier, have not gone our way, is not the way that we planned it. But at the end of the day, you just take it on the chin and try to fix it the next week.
What is it like working with Cam in this position? Are the three captains pretty close? And is he, what is he like when it comes to just calling team meetings, or maybe when you found out that the Army-Navy game would not be in Philly, did you guys have a meeting and did he speak? Did you speak?
I mean, so Cam is a great guy. He's very smart, obviously, and we see that with the fact that he's class president and all that. Obviously, I don't work as much, like at least at practice and stuff, with Cam and Jackson as they're on the defensive field. But I mean, we didn't call a team meeting for the game not being in Philadelphia, because I mean, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I mean, like we say that we'll play them anywhere, and I mean, that's the truth. Is this game means everything to us, and it doesn't matter where they want to play. We're going to go and we'll play. It doesn't matter. So we weren't too concerned about that. And then we also had other things on our plate at the time that we needed to worry about, like whatever. I don't remember what week it was announced, but I'm sure we had a game that week, and there were other things that at that point in time that were more important. So, but I mean, Cam is a great speaker. That's one of his best attributes, is that he's able to speak to anybody, and he's very intelligent when he's speaking, and just as a person in general, just very intelligent. So.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Aaron.
Hey, with this being your last game playing football, how much thought have you put into that, and what do you want to get out of your last game on the field?
I mean, honestly, I don't guess I've really thought about that too much. The focus is really just beating Army. That's the only thing that matters, and I mean, that's the best way for anybody on an academy football team to go out. There's no better way than beating your rival, whether it's at Army beating us or at Air Force. I don't know which one they put more focus on, but for us, obviously, it's Army, and there's just no better. Like last year, I already said it. It was one of the best moments of my life, and something that I'll always remember. And I mean, if it is my last game, then that's one way to go out, and I'll take that any day of the week.
Why is the focus there more on Army versus Air Force? What's the difference?
Well, it's just obviously the two academies have been around longer, and it's just kind of like the culture that's built here at the school. From the moment you come in on I-Day as a plebe, it's you square your corners and it's beat Army, go Navy, beat Army. It's everywhere. Our weights in the weight room are beat Army. It's our shirts have beat Army. Everything's always beat Army. So we finish blue and gold with beat Army. Like, it's just a culture that's created here, and it means a lot to everybody, not just the football team. It's the grads, the other midshipmen in the hall, the people in the community, really embrace it. And then just, veterans all across the country who, have, either served with the Navy or Marine Corps or Army, and, they do get invested in the football game.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have 4 minutes. I'll make another pass through to get one question until I run out of time. Scott Wyckoff.
Billy, there's so much emotion in the Army-Navy game. I know Coach Niumatalolo talks about breathe, focus, and explode. How important is it to control the emotion?
I mean, it's almost as important just like as knowing your job or anything like that. You can't let the moment get too big, because then that's when you start making mistakes, or, you know, you jump off sides or get a holding call or anything like that. And so you have to be able to control that stuff so that you're not hurting yourself and costing the team. So like I said, I would say it's just as important as knowing your own job and all the little things that we focus on.
Thanks.
Kareem.
Hey, Billy, I had one more on David. Obviously, his passing affected you guys as a team so much. I'm curious, what is the legacy he left for you guys that knew him, and what was it about him that, you know, seemed to touch you guys so deeply?
Yeah, it wasn't anything about football. It was just who he was as a person. Once you got to know Dave, you realize how much he cared about the people around him and how much he cared about the people who cared about him. He was, you know, I mean, he was a great friend. It wasn't, you know, the heartbreak isn't from, you know, him not playing football anymore or anything like that. It's the fact that we lost a friend, somebody who we won't get to, you know, go visit later on in life and see his family. Like those kinds of things were probably the most painful things about losing him, is that we lost out on years and years of having a great friend. And that's ultimately what, you know, really sits, you know, that's the hardest thing about it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wags, you have one more?
Billy, this is a rock'em sock'em game. I mean, it's hard to move the ball on Army's defense. They know your offense so well. It's a real war in the trenches. Can you just talk about that and the mentality you have to bring in this contest?
Yeah, I mean, like, in a way you attack it with the same mentality that, you know, it's a football game, kind of not letting that moment get too big to you, but in the back of your head, you understand that, like you said, they understand us, we understand them. So it's really about, this game is one of those ones that coaches are always talking about. It's who wants it more, but that's really what this game is it's who's going to want it more at the end. And honestly, it's just, you either decide you're going to go get it or you don't, you know. So it's kind of, that's my role. I think one of my roles is to kind of, you know, put that on the offensive line and make them understand that if you don't go out and win this game, then we're not going to win it. It's on us to go out and win it.
We've got defensive coordinator Brian Newberry with us.
Your second Army-Navy game as defensive coordinator. What was your biggest takeaway, both from a schematic standpoint from last year and from an emotional standpoint, being able to experience it?
Yeah, nothing can really prepare you for that game, that environment, especially the first time you're in it. A little bit overwhelming. You got to really force yourself to kind of be in a moment, and it's an emotional game. And you know, we tell our players all the time, you know, play with emotion, but don't let emotion play with you. And so that's kind of how you have to approach it as a play caller as well. But it's a phenomenal thing to be a part of. It's as much of a chess match type game as there is, you know, just schematically, and trying to make sure that you get your players into the right calls and that you're making the right adjustments and those kind of things. So it was a great experience. We're fortunate enough to win it last year, and but really excited about the challenge. It's a really, really good football team we're going to play. A lot of motivation, just like us. So excited about it.
It seems like every option offense has its own uniqueness in its own ways. What makes Army's option so effective?
Well, I think they certainly have an identity. You know, they know who they are and what they want to do, and they're really good at it. They're a tough, physical, hard-nosed football team that was okay with getting 2 or 3 yards a pop and grinding it out. I've never seen a team with so many long, you know, 14, 15, 16, 17 play drives as these guys. And so they're methodical, don't make a lot of mistakes, stay on track. They do what they do really, really well.
And of course, your defense the last 2 games has been lights out. What do you like the most about the way they're playing going into the Army-Navy game?
Well, I think the effort piece of it, I think we're flying around and kind of getting back to the way that we need to play on defense around here. I think we've started to gel a little bit more. I think we settled in on some guys, and the experience of the season is starting to pay off a little bit. And I kept saying, we're getting better. We're getting better. Our best football is ahead of us, and I think we're playing well. We're not playing great. There's certainly a lot of things and areas we need to improve on, but really, really proud of the way that we've gone out and prepared over the last month and practiced the way we've gone about our business, and it's shown up on the field.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Sir, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the Army offense. I'm looking at the stats. It's pretty balanced. They got like 6 guys from, 200 to 330 yards rushing. Can you just talk about their offense a little bit, Coach?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you nailed it with the being balanced part of things, which makes them even tougher to defend. But like I was just saying earlier, they're really, really good at what they do. That they grind it out. They're physical. They're tough. They come off the football. They're okay with getting 2-3 yards a pop. They keep themselves on the field. Don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't get behind the sticks. They do a great job. Davis does of calling the offense, and asking their kids to do what they can do, and they control the clock. They grind it out, and they wear you out. And they're balanced, as far as where they're going. Really, no heavy tendencies in the run game. But they're a B-back quarterback offense, and they will get it pitched and dealt on the perimeter. Some, not as much as other option teams do, like Air Force, for example. But really, really good at what they do, and hard to defend.
Due to injuries, they've used 6 different quarterbacks. Who do you think you're going to see? Tyhe Tyler, Christian Anderson? I mean, take a pick.
Yeah, no, we could really, really see any of them. I thought kid last week, the last time out against Georgia Southern, played really, really well. I would assume that they're going to kind of stick with him. But, they're all talented quarterbacks, and really not going to change our game plan a ton. Based on who they play. It's hard enough to get ready in 1 week to go play these guys, much less have a couple of different kind of game plans based on who they're putting in there at Q.
Last from me for now, you talked about their ability to put together long drives. They had one of those textbook drives to begin last year's Army-Navy game, but then you did not allow it to happen again. What's the key to getting this Army offense off schedule?
Yeah, well, I think the thing that we did well last year against them was we created some negative plays, got them behind the sticks, which is what you have to do against an option football team. They had the one, I think it might have been an 18-play drive, the second drive of the game, and there were no really big plays. I think they hit a 15 or 20-yard run with the quarterback, but everything else was just grinded out. Convert on 3rd and short, convert on 4th and short, and they just stayed on the field. And so if they do drive and they do score, then those are the kind of drives that we need to make them have. We need to make them go 18 plays, and hopefully if they have to do that, they'll make a mistake or we'll get a ball out. But yeah, it goes back to being really good on first down and trying to get them a second long and trying to get them behind the sticks a little bit, so they're not kind of in rhythm and on track how they want to be.
There's been a lot of talk about the defense improving in practice over these last month or so. Is there a couple things that you can specify that particularly improved or changed, as opposed to, or was it truly just kind of a gradual progression of everything? Or I didn't know if there was like 1 or 2 things that you say, see, we specifically started doing this better here.
Well, I think it was gradual, because we were just not a very good football team at the beginning of the year, obviously, and we weren't prepared to go out and play games physically. So that piece of it got better. So that part of it was gradual. But I think it was a kind of a renewed sense of, all right, these are the things that we have to do, and this is how we have to practice. We kind of lost track of that a little bit, and so there was a renewed sense of purpose in the way that we went out and practiced, and everybody bought into that, and I think that's paid off. And I think you see us flying around with football a little bit differently than you did, before we had the little break, after SMU, before Memphis. So real credit to our seniors, our captains, just how they've gone out and attacked every day.
As far as Army's offense, I mean, you said the fullbacks are always crucial with them, but it looks, I mean, can you talk about who exactly are the key fullbacks? I mean, I see running back on there that it lists some of these guys that are among their leading rushers, like, Jacoby Buchanan, Tyrell Robinson. I don't know that they're all fullbacks. I know Slomka is. Sandan McCoy, rather. Can you talk about specifically
they've got some really dynamic athletic A-backs, and they get the ball to those guys, but not necessarily off the triple where they're getting it pitched on the perimeter. They find creative ways to get those guys the ball because they're talented players. And then, they have several big physical B-backs. McCoy's been there for a long time. He's a really good player. And then they bring in a couple of 250, 260-pound guys that are kind of the bruiser types. So all those guys are getting a piece of the rock. But they do a really good job of getting the ball to their dynamic players as well as getting it up the middle to their big B-backs. So they do a good job of mixing it up, keeping their guys fresh as well.
Jackson Pittman was such a pivotal figure up front last year. Do you feel good about where you are along the D line, particularly at the nose? Because you need a guy that's going to kind of hold that point of attack.
Yeah. I wish we still had him. That's for sure. Mr. Jackson. He was a really, really good player for us, and they had trouble blocking him last year. I do feel good about the two noses that we have. Different kind of players, a little bit smaller. Hopefully we'll be able to use their quickness to our advantage a little bit. And so, in these games, that position has to play really, really well. And I'm excited about the guys that we have there, and I think they're up for the challenge.
All right, we've got offensive coordinator Ivin Jasper with us. Scott Wyckoff, you can lead us off.
Ivan, what has this game for you over the last almost 2 decades meant to your career to be able to have been a part of this Army-Navy game so many times?
First of all, it's just a blessing to be a part of it. This is a game unlike any other, and I know there's a lot of great rivalries out there, and I respect them all. But until you've been a part of this game and coaching this game, there's nothing like it. I can't even explain the pressure and you feel like the world is caving in on you. The pressure to win the game, obviously, and you always want to win. Again, just the history of the game, the two schools and what they mean to this country. I'm just happy I can be a part of it for so long.
What's impressed you the most about this Army defense, their strength coming in this season?
They're just playing physical, playing together, playing hard, like all the years. They're no different. It's going to be a tough game, as always. It's going to be a fair fight, as always. We just got to go out there and play our style of football, take care of the football first and foremost, and match them pound for pound, swing for swing.
I would imagine with your offense right now, they've been really working because with a good game against them, they could really finish strong and go out on a real high note and show that they've really accomplished something this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's always this game is everything to both programs. Depending on how the season is going, good or bad, you win this football game, it makes the rest of the year better. We understand that. They understand that. Yeah, they've had a good season. We've had a rough season. But again, if we can go out this weekend and win this football game, it makes everything better.
And finally, what do you like best about your offense? You've been working on a lot of things, I know, but what's the thing that you like the most about them as they get ready for this game?
Our kids they're just continuing to fight. Hasn't been an easy year. It's been different. I'm not a guy that makes excuses at all, but it has. It's just been a different year in a lot of aspects, But again, it's still a football game. You got to go out and play. Our guys haven't quit. They've kept pushing through and kept pushing forward, and we're going to keep coaching them. We're going to get our best plan together, go up there on Saturday and get after it.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bill Bergman.
Coach, for you, what is this moment going to be like going up to West Point and playing at Michie Stadium?
Obviously, it's going to be different. I've never been there. Again, all my years here, I've never stepped foot on that campus. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be weird. All those words you can pick. But again, it's a football game that we have to win. We have to go up there and play well and find a way to get a victory in true enemy territory. So it's going to be a fun football game. I'm looking forward to the challenge, and we're ready to go.
These games, triple option versus triple option, tend to be chess matches. Just what's it like scheming against the defense that knows the option so well?
Well, you just got to be smart. Can't try to be too cute and too pretty. Again, they know what we're doing. We know what they're doing. Just have to, again, just got to grind it out. Just got to grind it out. Pick your spots. Get the ball to your best players and let them make plays. Take care of the football and in the end, see where it all falls.
And any update on the quarterback?
Xavier right now looks to be a starter. He had a solid game last week. As obviously as a freshman, did some knucklehead things, but overall, the kid played well. Did some good things for us. Gave us a little spark, and we're going to take that into this Saturday's game.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wags.
Well, following up on that, I think he's going to become the 5th freshman to start for Navy in the Army-Navy game, if my notes from Strauss are correct.
They are correct.
Obviously, Keenan was one of them, so you were here for that. And Navy won that game with Keenan as a freshman starter. What do you tell Xavier to maybe calm his nerves on Saturday?
There's not much you can tell a young man going to this game. Bill, you know that, man. I mean, this game is huge. Zach's first game a couple years back, was his first start, going to this game. It's something that you can't coach this. It's something that a young man has to have in him. We can get him prepared and try to make the game plan as simple as possible to help him. But as far as the nerves and going to the game and trying to be calm, it's going to be on him. He has to go out there and find a way to calm down. And we got to do a good job of helping him with that. But again, I can talk to him all I want. This is something that he's going to have to be able to. It's growing pains. It's a growing pain that he has to go through. And some guys step up to the plate and do a good job with that. And Keenan went in there with again, just ice water in his veins. And Xavier's that type of kid. He's a very competitive kid. He's a very detailed kid, hard on himself. He's very critical of himself, so I'm sure his mindset will be ready. He's going to go out there, and we got to put the kid in position to be successful. That's our plan.
I like the way he spoke after Saturday's game. Number one, he took a lot of responsibility on his shoulders and talked about misreads, and it can't happen. And he said that he may be a plebe in the hall, and they can get him up on deck and yell at him all they want. But when he gets in a huddle, he's not a plebe. He's the quarterback. He's got to be the leader. Do you like the poise and maturity you see out of Xavier?
You have to, and it's always good to see. Again, I know he's not Keenan Reynolds, but he has some of those qualities. Athletically wise, he has some of Malcolm in him. He's not exactly Malcolm, but he definitely has some of those qualities in him as well. So, he's just a freshman. Obviously, he has a ton of potential, a ton of room to grow. But but ground zero right now, he's taking responsibility on himself for his play. He's not making any excuses. He has to get better. And this Saturday, he has to play well. So we'll have a good plan for him and for the rest of our team, and we're gonna go out there and get after it.
So kind of dovetailing on the analogy you gave us last week, how do you get your shiny 69 Camaro start running properly by Saturday?
Corvette, man. Do not insult Corvette like that. Well, obviously, we got to get some high octane gas in it, So we put some good gasoline in there this week, and we're gonna go play.
Is it? You only have pretty much 3 full practices. I know Monday was light or whatever, and Friday's a walkthrough. But do you feel you have time to get the offense fixed? You don't get the 3 weeks like you normally would for this game.
It's definitely a challenge. It's different than normal, but again, we knew that going into this, so we kind of prepared a few weeks back, just trying to put something together. Again, you can't spend too much time on a bunch of things. You got to hone in on what you feel really, really good about. Put a solid game plan together. Go out there and play. Yes, we would love to have that time to get ready for this game, but we don't. It is what it is. This year has been this year, so we're accepting it for what it is. We're gonna load up and go play.
You know better than anybody that going against that Army defense is like banging your head against the wall sometimes. You can try all of the different plays you got, and they know your offense. They're always there. It's really hard to move the ball, isn't it?
It is. They know us and we know them. They understand what we do, understand what they do. The main thing it comes down to, again, is just taking care of the football. That's going to be the biggest thing going to this game, and taking care of the football, and obviously no penalties, to stop a drive. limited possession, so every possession is going to count. So I mean, it's a tough game to coach in. But again, I've done it for a very, very long time. I want anything less. I love this challenge. We're going to get our guys ready to play. We're going to go up there. We got a good plan. We're going to go up there and play and get after it.
And last, before I turn it over to Kareem, I think one way to take the pressure off of this freshman quarterback is if those fullbacks could hit it up in there and get you some nice yardage. That would be nice. You ride that all day, couldn't you?
Well, we have a good running game. It definitely helps your quarterback. That's in any offense, but that's always what we want to start with. We want to get Jamel and we want to get Nelson going. If we can get those guys going, obviously take a lot of pressure off our quarterback and the rest of our football team. If we can run the football between the tackles, again, if we can move the sticks and obviously get first downs and keep the chains moving. Obviously, at the end, score a touchdown, put some points on the board. If we can do that and complement that with a quarterback here and there and an A-back on the perimeter and a pass here and there, it'll be a good day for us on Saturday. Thanks, my man.
Kareem.
Hey, Ivan. Quickie, we talked a little, I'm going to go back to Xavier a little bit. We talked about him overall, but when you watched last week's tape, can you specify a couple things that you said, okay, I really like that. This is where he's grown from where we were last week, and a couple things that you're like, okay, we still need to clean this up?
Well, like you said, he missed some reads, but they all miss reads. The thing that I like that he did not turn the football over. He didn't turn the football over. There were some passes that, again, the thing I've always said to myself, I'm not on a football field. Yes, I can see from the box maybe a guy's running open, but if the quarterback doesn't see it, it does not matter. It doesn't matter what I think. It's all about what he sees, So he said, Coach, I didn't see certain things. I wasn't going to force the football. I got out of the pocket. Nothing was there. I threw the football away. I was most pleased with that. He didn't force anything. He didn't turn the football over, and threw the football away. Didn't lose any yardage. And a couple of nice runs, where he showed a little bit of what we need on a position. Nothing was there. He made a play, ducked back up inside, and made a very impressive run. So, the tools are there. He has a lot in his toolbox. Now he's got to fine tune it. And again, he has to get better, get more mature, and grow more. I think we got a pretty good quarterback right now. Obviously, again, we have other guys as well. So I'm excited about the future.
And just one more for me. Billy's going to be wearing David Forney's number. What was it about him that just made him so beloved to all of his teammates?
Well, he was one of those guys, you couldn't help but love him. And there was a big, gentle teddy bear. Great kid, great family. Again, I recruited him out of Georgetown Prep. I just remember going by the school and hanging out with him, talking to him. This big kid walks in. He was a nasty football player, very, very physical. And he took time to grow while he was here. He had some rough years there, but getting matured every single year. And his senior year, finally, it all came to the top. Just was a solid football player, solid young man. Again, great role model. And he was just funny. Again, he just found a way to make things, more enjoyable. I'll give you one story. Coach Ingram probably can tell you the best. One game, we're not playing well, and Coach Ingram is going off on the sideline, and David, kind of, hey, Coach, the way you're acting ain't helping the situation at all. Just in a moment of just Coach Ingram just losing it, David just calmly said, Coach, the way you're acting right now is not helping the situation at all, and he was like, you hush, so, but that was just the way he was, he found a way to make things enjoyable, even though it was a, very intense moment, but he found a way to stick a little bit of, humility in there, a little bit of comedy in there, and just have guys relax, so missed the young man tremendously, and our guys will honor him this weekend, and now what we can do is go out and get a W to honor him even better.